Heading to work on what would have been the last day of his summer internship, Sean Baran, a college student from New Jersey who attends the University of Richmond, found himself face to face with the London terror attacks Thursday and did all he could do to help. Sean then came home last night to enjoy a very warm welcome from his relieved parents. Sean and his mom and dad, John and Tola, are here in our studio. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
It must be so nice to have your son back home.
Certainly is.
But let me start, Sean, by asking you about your day yesterday. You know, I'm always amazed at the role fate seems to play in all of our lives. You overslept a bit, or you were running late for your last day on the job. Is that right?
Yeah, about 15 minutes.
And so you got up and you headed to the subway station.
Yep. And when I got to the station manager said, I'm sorry, the tube is closed. You're going to have to take the bus if you'd like to go anywhere.
Did he explain why it was closed? Did it have anything to do with what had happened?
He didn't explain why it was closed, but I would imagine it was because of the bomb.
So you got on a bus or a double-decker bus?
Yes, I got on one of the Roadmaster double-decker buses, and I was on the second level in the front. So I kind of had a bird's eye view of Edgware Station as we approached, and I saw the people coming out, and people on the bus started having phone calls from friends and family notifying them that bombs had gone off. So it was.
Cell phones started ringing like crazy,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. The entire network was packed.
And I know that being the nice son that you are, knowing that your parents would be worried sick, you immediately called your dad, despite the fact it was, what, 4 in the morning, right? Yeah. And you told him that what had happened and that you were okay.
Yes.
I know that, Tola, you still worried about Sean, despite the fact that he had called, because he really kicked into action. You're a volunteer EMT. So you got off the bus, and tell me what happened next.
The first thing I was thinking was they're going to be setting up an incident command somewhere. So I went up and I talked to one of the police officers and I said, I'm an EMT from the United States, can I please help out? And he said, yeah, sure, just head over to this hotel. They're setting up the incident command, and we started triaging patients, treating their wounds, getting the people who were injured the most to the hospital as quickly as possible, and then just making sure that everyone else was accounted for. You
were cool, calm, and collected because you've dealt with these kinds of emergencies before, but for anyone it must have been very upsetting and very unsettling. Can you tell us about the most seriously wounded individuals?
The most seriously wounded individuals had major burns and lacerations to the face. Their clothing tended to protect them. None of the shrapnel or glass went through the clothing for the most part. However, there was serious smoke inhalation and just terrible cuts on the face and burns.
Were you able to talk with any of the people you were helping? Because I know they made a triage center at the Hilton Hotel, right? That was sort of headquarters?
Yeah.
Were you working there, or were you at the department store kind of helping victims?
Originally there was 2 staging areas. There was the Marks and Spencer and the Hilton, and then they moved everyone over to the Hilton. So I was in the Hilton, and the hotel just opened their doors, and they were helping everyone, giving water and food out freely, blankets, sheets, everything we could need.
And was everyone dazed and confused, or were you able to have any conversations?
Yes, I was. I talked to one man. I was just trying to get a feel for, if he was with it or not. So I asked him, tell me what happened, and he just started describing what had happened in the main car where the bomb was. And he said that the floor of the train was blown out, and that one gentleman was either tossed from or fell out of one of the trains onto the adjoining tracks, and I believe he was run over by one of the trains.
And they were trying to get to him?
Yes, they were trying to pull the doors open because they could hear him calling for them, but they weren't able to pull open the doors. So they directed the firefighters to where he was, and the firefighters began working on the extrication as they sent the victims out of the station stairs.
I know that you told me yesterday on the phone you were very impressed
by
how organized emergency services personnel were and how they handled this so well.
Yeah, they were on the ball. They had about 60 patients total walking wounded, and they were able to process all these people and get them to the hospital within about 2 or 3 hours. That's an incredible response time when it comes to a multiple casualty incident like that.
Do you ever think, Sean, there, but for the grace of God go I? I mean, here, so senseless, so pointless, just normal people, either tourists or people who are just trying to get to their jobs to earn a living for their families. And in an instant, this happens. It's such a surreal, it must be such a surreal experience, especially for you, being so close to what occurred.
Yeah, it definitely was extremely surreal, just because so many good things have been happening in London in the last week with Wimbledon, Live 8, and the G8 Summit, and winning the bid, and then something like this just really kind of shattered that whole atmosphere of hope and good things that were happening. But the British responded really well. I mean, they did a great job of organizing themselves, and they responded extremely well to the terrorist attack. So I was extremely impressed by what they were able to accomplish with the resources they had.
Well, I think you're extremely impressive too, that you stepped up to the plate and got involved and helped so many people. So that was a wonderful thing for you to do, and I know your mom and dad must be very proud of you for all that you've done.
Yes, we are.
And you must be relieved to have him home, as I said.
Well, we're thrilled to have him home.
Are you gonna head back to London at any point?
Maybe sometime in the future, but my internship finished yesterday. It was my last day, so I start another one on Monday.
Wow. Well, good luck to you, Sean.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. and Mrs. Baran, nice to meet you as well.
Thank you.
John
Thanks for
and
having
Joel.
us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.